Welcome to your daily stock market summary from MarketSnap. Hey everyone, I'm thrilled to be back with you to break down the action from today's market session on January 16th, 2026. We've got a packed day with plenty of movers, shakers, and big picture trends to discuss. So let's dive right in and see what's shaping the landscape for us long-term investors. Whether you're in it for the steady gains or keeping an eye on short-term swings, there's something here for everyone looking to build wealth over time. First up, let's take a quick look at how the major indexes performed today. It was a bit of a mixed bag on Wall Street, with the Dow Jones slipping slightly, down about 0.17%, while the Nasdaq and S&P 500 also saw minor dips of around 0.06% each. On the brighter side, the Russell 2000, representing small caps, managed a small gain of 0.12%, continuing its impressive run with a fresh all-time high for the 11th straight session. This kind of resilience in smaller companies is something to watch, especially if you're diversifying for the long haul. Now, let's talk about some of the big winners among large-cap stocks today. Micron Technology led the charge with a standout performance, jumping over 7% as AI-driven memory demand continues to fuel excitement around the name. Novo Nordisk also caught attention, soaring more than 9% after early data showed a strong launch for its Wegovy obesity pill. And in the energy space, GE Vernova climbed over 6%, reflecting strength in industrial and energy sectors. These kinds of moves remind us how innovation and sector-specific tailwinds can create opportunities, even in a choppy market. On the flip side, not everyone had a great day. Among the large-cap losers, Constellation Energy took a significant hit, dropping nearly 10%. Largely due to concerns over the Trump administration's push to have tech giants fund new power plants. Vistra also felt the pressure, down over 7% for similar reasons. Meanwhile, AppLovin saw a decline of more than 6%, reflecting some profit-taking or broader tech sector jitters. For long-term investors, these dips could be moments to reassess. Sometimes a pullback is just noise, other times it's a signal to dig deeper. Looking at the market movers by volume, Nvidia remains a focal point, trading actively despite a slight dip today. Walmart saw decent activity with a small uptick, showing consumer strength, while Intel was busy but couldn't escape a nearly 3% drop. These heavyweights often set the tone for broader sentiment, and their mixed performance today mirrors the uncertainty we're seeing across the board. As long-term players, it's key to watch how these giants navigate macro pressures like Fed policy or geopolitical noise. Speaking of activity, let's zoom in on some of the most traded names. Beyond the usual suspects like Nvidia and Walmart, we saw a surge in interest for smaller players like Immunity Bio, which skyrocketed nearly 40% on cancer trial progress. Supermicrocomputer also popped over 11%, catching the AI wave. High volume often signals where the market's attention is. Sometimes it's hype, sometimes it's a real shift. Keep these on your radar for potential long-term stories. Now, shifting gears to some of the bigger economic headlines driving sentiment. There's a lot of chatter around the Federal Reserve, with speculation about who'll replace Jerome Powell as chair heating up. Names like Kevin Warsh are gaining traction in prediction markets, while Powell himself could stay on as a governor until 2028. This uncertainty, combined with warnings about Fed independence, has some investors on edge. Could we see inflation creep back if political pressures mount? For us long-term folks, this is a reminder to stay focused on fundamentals over policy noise, though short-term volatility might create buying windows. Another big theme today is the strength in large-cap stocks over small caps historically. Recent analysis shows that since 2017, the traditional small-cap premium has flipped, with giants in the S&P 500 significantly outperforming. Structural shifts like delayed IPOs and digital innovation are funneling growth to the big players. As long-term investors, this might push us to lean heavier on large-cap stability, though I'd argue there's still value in selective small-cap exposure, especially with the Russell's recent streak. Tech and AI continue to dominate the conversation, especially after Taiwan Semiconductor dropped a bombshell earnings report signaling accelerating AI demand. This lifted sentiment for the Nasdaq, even if today's moves were muted. Analysts are calling this a mid-1990s moment for tech, Spending is ramping up, doubts linger, but the biggest gains could still be ahead. For long-term portfolios, this reinforces the case for tech exposure, but with a cautious eye on valuations. Short-term, we might see more choppiness as liquidity pressures mount with Treasury actions. Let's talk earnings, as this week's calendar is packed with heavy hitters reporting. We've got big names like JP Chase, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and Goldman Sachs sharing their results, offering a window into the financial sector's health. PNC Financial already beat expectations with record revenues, a good sign for banking resilience. Taiwan Semiconductor's stellar numbers also stole the show, underlining tech's momentum. Outside finance and tech, keep an eye on Delta Airlines for consumer travel trends. These reports can sway sectors short-term, but for us, they're puzzle pieces in the broader economic picture.
Get exclusive AI summaries of every earnings call. No more reading hours of transcripts. Access revenue segmentation, 5-year analyst estimates, SWOT analyses, and full financial statements. Plus track upcoming earnings, dividends, and market events with MarketSnap's calendar app. Create a free account at MarketSnap.com.
Peaking at the top performers over the past week among large caps, Expand Energy stole the spotlight with a jaw-dropping gain, while CoreWeave and SanDisk also posted strong double-digit climbs, fueled by tech and AI enthusiasm. Intel and Roblox rounded out the list with solid gains too. These weekly movers can hint at emerging trends, something to consider if you're looking to rebalance or add growth names to your long-term holdings. On the other hand, the past week wasn't kind to everyone. Trip.com led the losers with a steep drop of over 20%, followed by Intuit and Rivian, both down around 14 to 15%. These declines often reflect sector-specific headwinds or broader market rotation. For long-term investors, a weekly dip isn't a deal-breaker, but it's worth monitoring if these names approach key support levels for potential entry points. Sector-wise, industrials topped the charts this week with a solid gain of over 4%, followed by energy at around 5.5% as supply risks linger. Basic materials also showed strength, up 6%. These moves suggest a rotation into cyclical sectors, possibly tied to policy shifts or geopolitical tensions. For long-term strategies, this could mean overweighting industrials or energy if you believe in sustained economic growth. On the weaker side, healthcare lagged this week with a slight decline, while tech and communication services barely stayed positive. This underperformance in healthcare might be tied to specific company news or broader profit-taking. As long-term investors, sector weakness can be a chance to scoop up quality names at a discount, provided the fundamentals hold up.
MarketSnap brings everything long-term investors use daily into one clean, fast platform. Explore stock financials, SWOT analysis, valuation ratios, 5-year analyst estimates, and our intrinsic value calculator, built with real fundamentals, not hype. All in a layout that's simple to read and ridiculously fast to navigate. And when you want to talk investing, join Nexus, our community where investors share valuations, posts, and stock discussions, all connected directly to the data. Use our stock's intrinsic value calculator to run and save real valuations with no spreadsheets. Share your analysis and valuations with others in the Nexus community. Get daily market summaries in video, audio, and article formats. Track the market with our earnings, dividend, and economics calendar. Our homepage gives you a real-time market overview with interactive heat maps, top market movers, and major index performance at a glance. Track daily performances, discover the most active stocks, and analyze performance across different timeframes, from weekly to yearly trends, and see which industries are leading or lagging. It's free to create an account, with optional access to premium forward-looking data. Try it now at MarketSnap.com and invest with clarity, not noise. That's a wrap for today's stock market summary from MarketSnap. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to stick with us for daily updates and deep dive SWOT analyses to keep your investment strategy sharp. Whether you're navigating short-term turbulence or building wealth for the long haul, we've got the insights to help. See you tomorrow.